Hey everybody, Blaine Austin here at Sewing Machines Plus, and welcome to our Thursday live show. And you're probably already going, y'all look like you're in a different place. Well, guess what? We are. We're in our brand new studio, and it's just what, Kyle? A fourth done, maybe?
Yeah.
It's not even finished, guys. So the next time you see me, which you're not going to see me for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So the next 2 Thursdays, I will not be here, guys. Kennedy and Kyle's going to run the show, and she'll probably do it from our corporate office, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so
or if it's done.
The next time you see the studio, it'll be 3 weeks from now, and it's going to be hopefully done. We got some really cool stuff that's going to be in here, guys. It's going to be really nice, and we're looking forward to it. A whole brand new desk is coming too. So anyway, y'all look forward to that, because I tell you what, we sure do. But guys, welcome to the show this morning. We're glad you're tuned in. We've got a really cool show today because we've got Jennifer Gleich, brother national educator here, and we're going to talk all about the ScanNCut today, and she's going to show you some cool things. And we're also going to talk about how you can use the ScanNCut with My Connection to connect it to some of your brother machines out there. So, and then we got a great special on the ScanNCuts today, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, hey, I got to say a big shout out there to some of the SMP Nation. We got Teresa Castile. She's in Ohio. We have Lori Archuleta in New Mexico. We have P. Champagne here in San Diego. Bernadette Evans in Michigan. Now, hold on. Bernadette, I thought you lived in Paris, California. And the reason we know that, Kyle's wife is from Paris, California. So tell us what's going on, Bernadette. Are you just up in Michigan visiting on vacation, or did you move? Then we have Anita Jackson. She's in Tampa, Florida. So good morning. Good afternoon to Anita in Tampa. And then we have Elizabeth Alice in North Carolina. So it's afternoon for her too. Pat D says, local Escondido. Well, hello, Pat D. So, guys, again, we are so excited about today's show because Jennifer Gleich, if y'all have not seen her on some of our shows before, she is so knowledgeable. And I tell you, I went to Austin, Texas for the Brother Convention back in August, and I took one of the classes that I took was Jennifer Gleich's class, and just really cool projects that we did and learned a lot. And so she's such a good educator. So we're so happy she's here today. But guys, I got to tell you about some dates. Now, I always tell y'all to have a pencil and a piece of paper handy when you watch these shows, and so that y'all can jot little things down. But we got a lot of dates coming up, and Kennedy just put that up there right now. So we have, and I'm going to talk about a few dates that's not even on the screen, but on October the 16th through the 20th, so it's about 2 weeks away, we are going to have our National Trade-In Week. Now, last year, we did this for the whole month of October. This time, it's only going to be a week. So if you've got a machine that's been sitting around and you want to get something new, we're going to give you the opportunity to call in on the week of the 16th through the 20th and see what we can give you for your machine toward the trade-in of a brand new machine. And it doesn't matter what brand it is, how old it is, give us a call. And that's going to be October the 16th through the 20th. So mark that down. It's National Trade-In Week at SMP. All right, then November the 27th, we are going to have Cyber Monday. So this is going to be the Monday after Thanksgiving. We'll have our Cyber Monday show. And again, I threw it out there. If y'all want to see something on Black Friday, which is the Friday after Thanksgiving, let us know in the comments right now if you'd like to see a show or something, because we've never really done anything on Black Friday, but we always do the Cyber Monday show. Then we're going to be countdown to Christmas. This is our festival for the fourth quarter, and it's going to be December the 11th through the 15th. We'll be streaming for 8 hours a day for 5 days. Great Christmas specials, a lot of good things. Santa Blaine will be in the house, so no telling what we'll be doing. And then Fabric Palooza is coming. That's going to be January the 18th. Y'all loved when we did Fabric Palooza last year in January. And then we did it again in May. Well, January's here coming up again. So January 2024, January 18th will be Fabric Palooza. And guys, we have a ton of fabric that's going to be in there this time. I don't even know how we're all going to do it, Kyle. Do you? How we're going to be able to show all the fabric that we've got this time? We got a lot of fabric. So it's going to be good. And this time, we're not only are we going to do it in prepackaged, by 1 yard increments or 3 yards that you can purchase, we're also going to be doing the whole bolt. So if somebody wants the bolt of it, you can purchase a bolt. And so we'll have that ready January 18th. And then, guys, guess what time it is? It is Quilt Fest time. March the 11th through the 15th is Quilt Fest. And again, guys, we'll be streaming live for 8 hours a day for 5 days. We're going to have a quilt contest. So if you've been wanting to get into making quilts, now would be the time. And you can get into making your quilt. And, we had a lot of newbies the last couple years that people have never made quilts before, actually got in, made a quilt, and entered it in the contest and got a lot of votes. So anyway, we encourage you to do it, because you know what? It doesn't matter. Anybody can do quilting. I proved it a few years ago. I did a table runner, and my mom still has that. I gave it to her. She puts it on her table every Christmas. So, but you can do it. It is hard, but anybody can do it. If you're a sewer, you can do it. I promise you can. But you got to start. That's what we tell everybody. You got to start. So we have some quilt kits to help you. There are a lot of different ways you can do it. There's tons of videos that you can go out and get help with. But anyway, we want you to do it. We encourage you to do one and enter it into the contest. And this year we're going to have a judges panel that will have judge the quilts, and then we're going to have a People's Choice where you can actually go vote on your favorite one, and that'll be the People's Choice Award. And all the rest of the awards, the 3 awards, will be chosen by our professional judges that'll be here. So got a big show planned for Quilt Fest. And you never know, we'll probably have some sew celebrities and some quilting celebrities on the show as well that week. So, all right, guys. Anyway, enough about the dates. We're also going to give some stuff away, and we want you to be able to win. So we encourage you to go. If you haven't liked our Facebook page yet, go like it. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, go subscribe to your YouTube. And just make comments, ask questions, and that's going to enter you to win the prizes we have today. And I'm going to give a trivia question. And should I do it now before we bring Jennifer on and let them have time, or do I wait for the trivia?
I don't know. What do they think? Let's see.
What do y'all think?
Of course, they want it now.
They want it now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Because I want to be able to, they'll have time to go look it up. I want to know people. So let's just wait.
Okay.
Because I want people that actually might know this answer for the trivia question to win something today. So, and it's going to be something great. We're going to give a $100 gift card to the winner of our trivia contest today. So let's go ahead and bring Jennifer in. So Jennifer, welcome to our show today.
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well. Very excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited for you to be here too. And I know, we haven't talked about the ScanNCut in a while, and sometimes it kind of gets to the back seat because there's so many other new products coming out. But the ScanNCut has been, brother staple for a long, long time. It's been around, and people use these things constantly. And the other day we put out, a questionnaire, but I said, hey, what would y'all like to see on the show? And quite a few people said, hey, I'd like to see something about the ScanNCut again. And so I'm glad you're here because I know you love that ScanNCut. And
I do.
You're going to talk about My Connection, how you can use it in conjunction with the machine. So I'm going to let you get going. And then once you get finished up, we'll tell everybody how they can get the special we got going today, because it's a good one, Jennifer. So we'll let you get started.
All right. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am very excited to be here. As Blaine said, I do love my ScanNCut. I am probably started like most of you. I bought the ScanNCut and then was a little intimidated by it. But you just have to jump in and use it and not be afraid of it. I thought I'd start with some samples first, showing you what you can do with the ScanNCut. And then I'm going to give you an overview of the ScanNCut, the different blades, the designs that are built in, the things that you can do. And then maybe if we have some time at the end, we can do some questions and answers. So let's get started with some things you can do. I am a quilter, so I love the ScanNCut for my quilting. The ScanNCut has built-in quilt block designs. You can use it for applique. You can use it to cut fabric. If you do any kind of quilting, say with wool felt, you can cut your wool felt pieces with it. It will cut through felt nicely with the rotary blade. I'm going to demo that. Here is something that I did. It is a built-in design. I did this using my connection, which I'm going to show you. This is a built-in design on the ScanNCut, the ice cream cone, which I brought over to my Stellar embroidery machine and turned it actually into an applique, added the sprinkles, added the text, and turned it into a little pillow cover. There are two models, the two current models of the ScanNCut. The one I'm going to be using today is the ScanNCut SDX 325, and then there is the SDX 330D. The difference between the two machines themselves is that the 330D has Disney. So if you are like me and you're a Disney adult, you might want to get the Disney one. It has built-in Disney designs. You can also purchase additional design collections that you would register in your Canvas workspace, and you could use those with your machine. So this is using the designs from the 330D. This is a quilt that I've made. I cut my fabric with the ScanNCut, and then my actual little applique, or this is actually flocked heat transfer vinyl that I used for Simba on the bottom and the top. I'm going to try to get this in front of the camera. Those were cut with my ScanNCut. The nice thing about the Disney ScanNCut is we all know that on our embroidery machines, the Disney built-in designs, you can't do anything other than just stitch them. You can't mirror image them. You can't make them smaller. You can't make them larger. You can't break them apart. On your ScanNCut, on the 330D, you can make them bigger. This Simba comes in very small, and I enlarged him quite a bit, and I actually mirror imaged him so that my two lions are actually facing each other on the quilt. So I'm able to take those designs and mirror image, make them bigger, smaller. There are several designs that have different elements, and you can only choose to cut a part of that design. So the Disney designs on the built-in are a little different than the ones that are on our sewing machines or embroidery machines. Then you can cut with the rotary blade. We can cut all kinds of fashion fabrics, harder to cut fabrics. This is a design that comes with the rotary blade kit, and I have cut the fabrics with my ScanNCut. They're actually like a bridal tool and a real thin bridal fabric, and I'm able to cut that with the rotary blade and the low tack mat. Some other things that you're able to cut with that rotary blade are lace, fleece. So this is just like the fleece you buy at the store that you'd make a jacket or something out of. Some plush fabric. Trying to get this in front of the camera. So with the rotary blade, I'll demo that. The rotary blade actually hops. It doesn't really roll the way you think of a rotary blade. So it doesn't push your fabric around the mat. So you're able to cut these more difficult fabrics. I cut some sequin fabric with the rotary blade. This is a piece of batting. And this is wool felt. And this is like a knit t-shirt material. So it's got stretch to it, But again, the rotary blade doesn't push or pull against your fabric, so I'm able to cut that without distorting the fabric. And then this is some tulle, and the tulle I used actually had a printed design, and I'm going to demo. There's a feature on the ScanNCut called Direct Cut, where you can ask your ScanNCut to recognize a certain print on your fabric, and it will actually just cut out that part of your fabric. That is the cool thing about our ScanNCut. And then if you want to go even further, we do have the ability to cut vinyl. So you can cut heat transfer vinyl. I'm going to stand up. I did a t-shirt for Halloween. This is glow in the dark heat transfer vinyl from Brother. We can also cut regular adhesive vinyl, and you can use it and layer it to make all kinds of little decorations. You can do window clings. You can do put it on a mug or a water bottle, or make a sign for outside, a banner. You can cut your vinyl and make a stencil. So I made a stencil out of some vinyl, and then I used it to, you can see my board behind my computer here, but I used the stencil and put it on the mirror, and then I did some glass etching with the stencil and then washed it off, and I actually was able to stencil the mirror. And then we have a rotary blade attachment that allows you to cut vinyl right from the roll, and you can cut up to 72 inches. So this is a roller blade design that I cut, and I'm not going to be able to show the whole thing, but it is a 72-inch design. So let's go on over to the ScanNCut. I'm going to change cameras, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the ScanNCut, and then we'll dive in and cut a few things. So I'm going to switch cameras. And it's done this to me before. Well, my camera's
So I think we lost her for a second. So, hey, while we're waiting on Jennifer to get back logged in, let's go ahead and give something away, Kennedy. What do you think?
I think so.
So let's go ahead and do our trivia right now. So we'll do our trivia, and that way everybody has a chance to get a good prize. We're going to do a $100 gift card right now. So what we're going to ask you to do is, I'm going to kind of describe what I want you to know the term, and you got to put it in the chat. You don't put anything with it. You don't have to do a hashtag. You don't have to do anything. Just put the word, okay? And when I tell you to put the word in, you put it in, and we'll go. So, all right. So everybody, if you can imagine a sewing machine, okay? And the space between the needle and to the right of the machine, they call that the throat space, right? So all machines have a different throat space. Sometimes that gives you room. What I want you to know is, what do they call the space, the height right here? What is that called? It's a special term. Huh?
Somebody already guessed.
Put it in now.
One person, two.
All right. I'm going to give you just a few more seconds. Put it in.
The height.
So the height. All right. So Kennedy, put the answer up, and let's spin the wheel right now.
Let me do it. I'm giving you guys a couple more seconds because I see a lot of people.
Here we go. If you get it right, you're going to get in the drawing. So here we go. There it is. It's called the harp. So that is you have the throat space and the harp space, and that is inside that sewing machine, and that basically gives you your sewing area. So here we go. we're going to spin the wheel, see who wins out of that. Wendy Ballrith. So congratulations, Wendy. She's watching today from YouTube. So Wendy, you actually won yourself a $100 gift card. And to claim that gift card, you have to go to smplive.tv, scroll down toward the bottom of the page where it says claim my prize, fill out the information complete, hit submit, and as soon as we get that, you have 30 days to claim that prize. We get it, we will actually email you a gift card code, and then all you have to do is put that code in at checkout, and it'll save you $100 off the purchase. It'll save you $100 off her ScanNCut today.
There you go.
Ooh.
So anyway, we still haven't got.
I think she's still working on it.
Still having technical difficulties.
Oh,
And there she is.
we have her back. So let's go right back to Jennifer. And
Okay.
We got
Let's
you now,
hope-
Jennifer.
Let's
Yeah,
hope-
we got
can
you loud and
Can you
clear.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I have no idea what happened.
It's okay. We gave some stuff away while you're gone, so we're gonna let you get back at it.
All right. So let's go on over to the machine. So here it is. This is the SDX 325. This is the machine that I'll be using today. I'm going to go to the screen so that you can see. Wake it up. So on the screen, I'm going to look behind me and make sure that my camera is still there. You can see that the machine has there's the scanner function. Now that is the difference between our cutting machine and other cutting machines on the market. So we have a built-in scanner, which means you are not required to use any kind of computer software to run the machine. You can do everything built in. You can scan in a design, you can turn it into a cut file, you can turn it into a drawing file, you can turn it into a PDF. There's a function where you can scan to a USB. It is an actual scanner. So if you have the need for an office scanner and you have let's say you need another excuse to buy a ScanNCut, this could be your office scanner. So you could scan your important documents into your ScanNCut, scan them to a USB, it saves them on the USB as a JPEG, and you can save all your important documents. So if we go back, we have built-in patterns. So on the 325, you have 1,485 built-in patterns. That's huge. You have a multitude of designs. Those same designs are on the SDX 330D, with the exception the 330D, like I told you, has the built-in Disney designs. So in addition to those 1,485 designs, you also get 182 Disney designs. So you get Disney with the 330D. Some of the designs include shapes. So you've got some general shapes. This is the general category. Within that, there are subcategories of all types of things. You've got animals, travel, you got some sunglasses there. Scrapbooking pages. If you're a scrapbooker, you have pages here that have the fields where you would put a picture. There are some built-in text words that you can use. There is built-in text, so there's several fonts. And then one of my favorite features to show are the quilt blocks, because I am a quilt. I am a quilter at heart. I do a lot of quilting. My ScanNCut is in my sewing room on my workstation all the time. If I wanted to put a quilt together and I wasn't sure the size of all my pieces and I wanted to do a quilt, I can go in here, and although when I touch this quilt block, it only looks like there's 7 quilt blocks, within each of these are different quilt blocks to choose from. So I could go in here and choose a quilt block. So fall is coming up. I might want to use this leaf design. So the great thing is my ScanNCut does all of my math for me. So it defaults to 9 inches, but what if I want a 7-inch block? I know some of you are groaning because that's a really small block, but just to appease me here, we're going to go to 7 inches. We can tell the ScanNCut what size we want our completed unfinished block, or excuse me, finished block. So we want 7 inches. Now when I hit OK, look what it does. It shows me every single piece that I need to make that block. And when I click on any of them, say D here, it highlights here what D is, and I touch OK. It tells me the size of that. It's already calculated my piece size for me. And it tells me that I need 3 of that part for 1 block. So if I wanted to do 2 blocks, I would have to go and put this at 6. And when I hit set, it places all those blocks on the mat. So now I can put my fabric on my mat, scan it in. I can move these once I scan, and I will show you that. I can move those into position, and then I can cut my quilt blocks. Once I'm done, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go back to the quilt blocks because I didn't actually cut it. Once I'm done, I would go back into that block and I would choose my next piece. Again, it tells me how many I need. 2 of them. If I want 2 blocks, I'm going to have 4 of them, and it puts those on my mat for me. The other neat tool is, I don't know, let's see if I can do this. I can scooch in a little bit. I'm not a videographer. I say that at every time, but if you look really close, you can see it has added the seam allowance. I can actually draw with my ScanNCut. So before I cut these out, I could tell the ScanNCut to draw my seam allowance for me, and then I could put my blade in and cut my pieces, and my seam allowance is there for me as a guide when I'm stitching. So I'm going to go home. Again, we have my connection. I'm going to show you a demo of that. My connection allows you to send built-in designs from your ScanNCut, with the exception of Disney. Disney cannot come out of the ScanNCut, but you can send built-in designs from the ScanNCut over to your Stellaire or your Luminaire, and they come in my design center, and then you can take those designs and turn them into an applique or an embroidery, or you can send designs from your Luminaire or your Stellaire, whether they're built in, again, with the exception of Disney, built-in designs, or another design that you have that you've purchased from somewhere else that might have an applique, and you want to cut your applique pieces on your ScanNCut, you can bring it up in your Luminaire or Stellaire, send it over to your ScanNCut, and it will read the applique pieces from that design and allow you to cut them and be ready to go ahead and stitch. My collection are those design collections that you would buy and you would register in Canvas Workspace. Canvas Workspace is the free web-based but also downloadable program for your ScanNCut. You can purchase additional collections. You can actually put them on a USB and bring them in as one full collection versus one at a time. Back to our home page, I showed you patterns. Under scanning, direct cut. Direct cut means you are going to scan whatever material is that you're using, whether it's scrapbooking paper, fabric, felt. It has a design on it, and you want to cut that design out. This is paper crafters would use this if they wanted to make stickers. I'm going to show a demo of that. ScanNCut data is where you would take your design and scan it into the ScanNCut and turn it into a file that you can use. So you could take those quilt patterns that you purchased that have the applique designs that we all know that we trace and then put them on our fusible, and then we iron it to our fabric, and then we cut it again. We can actually just put our fusible onto our fabric. We can scan our quilt pattern into our ScanNCut, turn it into a cut file, put our fabric on the mat, and then we can cut our designs, and that saves us at least 3 steps that I can think of. We have Scan to USB, which I already told you about. Scan to USB means you can scan any kind of document into your scanner or into your ScanNCut. It is a scanner, so you can use it as a home-based scanner. And you can actually transfer a design, such as one of those quilt patterns, and you can transfer it right into Canvas Workspace. It will pop up on your computer screen. It makes it a little bigger for you to work with. And then you can actually send it back to your ScanNCut when you're finished. Then if we go to the right, we have a roll feeder. I showed you the roll feeder cutout that I did. The roll feeder is for heat transfer vinyl or regular adhesive vinyl. You can do embossing, so we can do embossing on paper, or we have some thin metal that you can emboss. There are also other collections you can purchase. You can do foiling, you can do calligraphy. Let's see what else. There's so many of them. Rhinestones, you can turn a design into rhinestones, and you can do a rhinestone for a shirt or some sort of apparel that you'd like to do. So I'm going to attempt to change cameras again. So hopefully this will work. There we are. So let's start with the scanning feature. I have like a coloring book page that I printed off of the Brother Creative Center for Halloween, and I am just going to scan this in. I am using a scanning mat. You do not have to use a scanning mat. You can use the low-tack mat. This is just a piece of computer paper that I printed on. The scanning mat, however, if you are going to be doing a lot of scanning of documents, the scanning mat makes sure that you get a nice clean scan without the gridded background. So I'm going to load this into my machine. And I'm going to go back to my other camera. I'm going to go to scan. And this time I'm going to choose Scan to Cut Data. And I'm going to leave this. I can choose. There is a 12 by 12 or a 12 by 24 mat. I am doing the 12 by 12 mat. And I'm going to choose black and white because I am doing a black and white scan. And I'm going to hit start. So it's going to recognize what we've scanned. There it is. And I have some options here. This is if I wanted it just to pick up the outside of everything. This is if I had elements that were overlapping and I wanted to just pick up the outside. And this is if they're overlapping and I want to break them apart. I'm just going to go for the skull here. So I'm going to just choose here. And I'm going to crop around the skull so I can move my red box. And I'm doing this with the screen down. The screen does pop up, but it's easier for the camera for you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to just hit preview. And it has put an outline around that skull. I'm gonna hit OK. It asks me if I want to save it somewhere. I can, again, send it to Canvas Workspace. If I want to edit it further, I can save it to a USB, or I can save it to the machine. I'm going to choose this machine. It saved it. Now I'm going to hit OK. Now, in order to use it, I have to go back home, and I'm going to go to Retrieve Data from my machine. I'm going to scroll to the very end. You can see I really do use my ScanNCut. There is the skull that we just did. There he is. I'm going to hit OK. And he's broken up into 2 pieces, which is, it's hard to get here. 3 pieces. He's got his eyes. So if I wanted to do those in a different color, or if I go undo, I can select all and group, and then I get one design. I can make him bigger. And I've done that just from one coloring page. So anything that you can scan in, you can turn into a file that you can use. So let's go ahead and cut something. I'm going to unload my mat. And there are multiple blades. The other difference between the ScanNCuts is what comes with the ScanNCut. So the ScanNCut 325 comes with the fabric mat and the fabric blade. So this is the fabric blade. It has a tan top. It also comes with the standard blade, which has the black top. And then the 330D, you get the standard blade, the same standard blade, but you also get the rotary blade. So the rotary blade is a really nice blade to have. You can purchase the rotary blade for the 325 or any DX machine that you have. Any of the accessories that I use, you can purchase and use on the DX machines. So the fabric blade, even though it doesn't come with the 330D, you can purchase and use it on the 330D separately as an accessory. So I am going to take this piece of felt. This is just a piece of wool felt. And I have a low tack mat here. The low tack mat has a teal bottom. And just so I see this question online a lot about people thinking or wondering if they bought the correct mats. The SDX mats actually have, let me just get this in front of the camera here. They actually have a DX in the number, and they will have a cutout on one end where you can hang the mat. So you want to make sure that you're purchasing the correct mats, not for the prior models of the ScanNCut. The prior models did not have that auto blade feature. So let's go ahead and look at that. I'm going to take the cover off.
Hey, Jennifer?
Yes.
I don't think your camera switched, so we're still seeing your screen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There
I just
we
didn't
go.
get into it. Okay.
Now you can show
I'm looking
everybody
at the
those
right
mats
camera.
again.
You guys, okay, so this is the teal. Thank you. This is the teal mat. And there's the DX number. And if you look at the bottom, it's got the cutout on it. That's how you know you're using a DX mat. So I took the cover off. I'm going to use this piece of wool felt. And I'm just going to put this anywhere on my mat. Because we have that scanner, it doesn't really matter where I put the fabric or vinyl on the mat, because I can move my design into position. So if you are a quilter like me and you save every last bit of fabric because gosh darn it, you don't want to throw it away, you can put multiple pieces of fabric on the mat and cut your appliques from those little scraps that we all save. Don't laugh, you know you do it. So I'm going to take and I'm going to go ahead and put the felt on the mat. One of my favorite tools is the Brother Brayer, and I like this just because it secures whatever material that I'm using onto my mat. I am going to load my mat into the machine. And because I am cutting that felt, I'm going to use my rotary blade. So let's see if I can get this in front of the camera. You can see it has a, let's see, it's a little round blade. It's got a larger cartridge, and the blades just pop into the blade holder and lock into place. So I'm going to switch cameras back to my screen here. And I am going to go into patterns. And let's choose a pattern here. So how about let's choose a flower. Let's go for this flower. I'm gonna touch OK again. I know my felt is like 6 by 6, so I'm gonna make this a little bigger. Oops, nope. I'll need one. I have to set it first. Then I'm gonna go to Edit, Object Edit, Size, and I'm gonna make this a little bigger. Now I'm going to use my scanner because I want to cut it out of the felt, and I position the felt kind of in the middle of the mat. So I'm going to scan. I'm going to go ahead and hit start. Now, I haven't done anything wrong. My ScanNCut, I have to remember, is smarter than I am. It knows that that piece of felt is a little thick. It's much thicker than a piece of standard quilting cotton. There is a little switch on the side of your ScanNCut over here that just lifts that scanner lever so that it can move that felt through. Your ScanNCut can cut up to 3 millimeters thick material. I've lifted my lever and I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to have to hit scan again or start. Now you can see where my felt is. You can see the flower. If that was too dark, I could go into the tools and I can lighten my background so that I can take and move my design over the felt. I'm going to hit OK. Please select. I do want to cut it, so I'm going to hit cut. And I'm going to hit start. Now I'm going to switch my camera so you can see how this rotary blade cuts. You'll notice that it doesn't completely roll. It will roll a little bit, but sometimes it'll hop. I probably picked a design that's got a nice curve. So the rotary blade is not something that you would want to use for something that has a real intricate cutting because it does do that hopping and it can't stop real precisely. So it's finished, and I can just peel the felt off the mat, and there it has cut the wool felt. I know that wool felt or felt itself is something that people always want to cut, so that's why I like to demo that. It's very simple to do with your rotary blade. So let's go ahead and move on to fabric, because we all know we want to cut fabric. So I am going to use, make sure I'm on the right camera this time. This is the fabric mat. The fabric mat has a gold bottom, and it actually matches the fabric blade. So you can see that when you use the fabric blade, you want to use the fabric mat. The fabric blade is meant for thin quilting cotton only. You don't want to use it on felt. You don't want to use it on any kind of a thicker material. It is meant for just fabric. So I'm going to take my cover off of my mat. And I'm going to remove my rotary blade, and my fabric blade pops in just like the other blades. And I have a piece of just quilting cotton. And the only thing I've done to the quilting cotton is I've treated it with some starch and given it a good press. Again, I'm going to put that anywhere on my mat here. Use my brayer. Load it in. And this time, change my camera back. I'm going to go home, and I'm going to go to scan. And what I want to do is I want to have my ScanNCut hopefully cut one of those puppies right out of the fabric. So I'm going to go to direct cut, and it's going to ask me, where do I want to send the scanned image to? I don't want to send it to Canvas Workspace. I do want to do it right on the ScanNCut. Again, I'm working with a 12 by 12 mat, and I am going to take that lever on the side and pop it back down because I'm just working with thin fabric. I'm going to keep this at black and white and see if that works. We'll see how lucky we are. I'm going to hit scan. That's just the noise. I have it too close to the wall, but it'll be okay. All right, so there is my fabric. You can see it. I'm going to hit OK. I am going to select this doggy here. And let's see if we can darken this up. All right. Sometimes it's hit and miss when you're on camera trying to do this. All right. So I'm going to scan this once more. I'm going to go back and I'm going to scan again, but I'm going to get another piece of fabric while it's scanning. Now, it may be the lighting in my room. I don't have a lot of natural light today, and my ScanNCut, there, we're getting somewhere. My ScanNCut isn't getting a lot of light from overhead. So you can see it's recognizing the pieces of the fabric. And this is because I'm on screen live, I know. So I'm going to just switch my fabric to something that's a little darker. And that is just it hitting my wall. All right. So I'm going to select mini. Oh, there it's got her face in the dots. Well, it's just not going to work for me with my lighting in my room today. There she is. All right. So we can see we've got the outline of Minnie's head.
Hey, Jennifer.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt again. We can't see the ScanNCut screen at all now. I think your camera
I'm sorry.
moved on.
I had to see it.
Oh, there you go.
I'm on my tippy toes.
This demonstration is so good. I don't want anybody to miss what you're doing.
Okay, so we can see Minnie's outline, and I'm just going to go to ignore object size because I've got these extra pieces here, and I kind of want to get rid of them. So I'm going to see if I can, if I make my ScanNCut ignore the size of the fabric, now I just get Minnie. So there, I've got just Minnie. Can you see that on the screen? I'm going to zoom in just for a minute. So we've got Minnie. I'm going to touch OK. There she is on the screen. I'm going to touch OK one more time. Now you can see I've just got the shape of Minnie. I'm going to go to my Please Select. I'm going to hit Cut. And now the last thing I did was that t-shirt that I have on. And one of the great things about the ScanNCut, it does have that auto blade. But when I'm cutting vinyl, I don't want to cut all the way through. So we have something called half cut. So I'm going to go into my settings and turn that off because I do want it to cut all the way through my fabric. Now I'm going to hit start. So with the direct cut, it's recognized my Minnie on my fabric. I'm going to go ahead and pull the outside of my fabric off. And now I've got Minnie cut out just from the fabric. So I'm looking at the time, and I wanted to make sure to show you my connection. But let me talk to you about one more blade that's available. We have the vinyl auto blade. The vinyl auto blade comes in two kits. There is a vinyl auto blade kit, and then there is a Disney vinyl auto blade kit. This will work with either model of your ScanNCut. It is meant for vinyl. So if you're cutting anything intricate, you're going to want to get the vinyl auto blade. The t-shirt I have on with the little bones on my skeleton was perfect with the vinyl auto blade because those little bones on the skeleton, and the little eyeballs were so tiny. So the vinyl auto blade is wonderful for intricate designs. So let's go and show you my connection, because my connection is great for us quilters. Back at the screen, I'm going to go home. Yes, I want to delete the pattern I was working on. And on our ScanNCut, if we go to the left, remember, we have the My Connection tab. So I'm going to choose My Connection, and I have two options: send a design from my ScanNCut or retrieve a design that my machine has sent to my ScanNCut. So I'm going to hit send, and then I can choose a design from my patterns, and I can choose any of these designs. So I can choose, excuse me, I can choose, let's just say, this fish. I'm going to leave it at the size because once I get it to my machine, I can do whatever I want with it. So I'm going to touch OK and OK one more time. I'm going to hit set. Now, if you'll notice, this screen does look very familiar, but instead of an OK, we have a transfer. If I touch transfer, it's going to transfer the design to my Stellaire, which is the machine that I have linked right now. I get this screen. I always leave this screen up. I don't ever choose the Don't Ask Me Again because I want to show all of you how this works. Basically, what this is telling me is it can only transfer one design back and forth at a time. So if I have transferred something from my Stellaire and I haven't used it or opened it or saved it, it's going to overwrite that design and vice versa. So that's okay with me because I just want to show you how this works. So I'm going to hit OK. It's going to tell me that it's finished transferring. Now I'm going to go over to my Stellaire and show you where we find that. So here we are at my Stellaire. In order to find the design that we just sent, it goes into my design center. So I'm going to go to my design center, and I am going to go to shapes or stamps. And if you look on the top of the screen, we have lots of shapes to choose from, but there is now an icon that looks like our ScanNCut. So I'm going to touch my ScanNCut. It's going to tell me to wait for a moment. And there is the fish that I just sent from my ScanNCut. I'm going to touch OK. It brings it into this screen. I can go in and I can change the size. I can make it bigger or smaller. I've got line properties. I've got fill properties. So let's just change his outline. I'm going to do a triple stitch in blue. Touch OK. And now I'm going to choose the fill. This is the fill region, which is the fill line. If I touch the pencil, I'm only going to draw a little dot at a time. If I touch the paint bucket, this is like a mini My Design Center lesson. If I touch the paint bucket, I can touch the line and it will apply those properties to the whole line. So I'm going to touch his outline, his gills, and his eye. Then I'm going to go to my properties here. These are my fill properties. I'm going to go into my fill properties, and I'm going to go into the design background fills, and let's select a fun design in there. So let's see. These look like fish gills. Touch OK. Let's make those orange. Touch OK. Again, I want to touch the fill, and I'm going to touch the inside of my fish. Touch next. Now I'm going to work with this. I'm actually going to turn the gills so they go the other direction. So I'm going to go to direction. and preview. And there is what it would look like if I stitched it out. That is a design from my ScanNCut. I've turned it into embroidery. Obviously, I could go on and on forever in my design center and design all kinds of things. If I hit set, it's just going to tell me that I can't make any changes, but it's going to send it over to my embroidery screen, and then it's ready to stitch. So we can do the opposite from our Stellaire or our Luminaire to our ScanNCut. So I'm going to go home, and I'm going to go to embroidery, and on our Stellaire, we have some really cute new applique patterns. Now, as I said, you can do my connection with built-in designs or other designs you bring in, but I'm going to go ahead and do one of these new applique patterns. So I'm going to choose the little sewing machine here, and I'm going to touch set, and I'm going to touch embroidery. Now I'm going to go to memory. And again, you can save this design to the machine if you made any changes to a USB. I am going to actually send it to my ScanNCut. So if you can see down here, looking at the screen, you can see there's that little ScanNCut icon down in the bottom right corner. I'm going to touch that, and it's going to give me that kind of same message that my ScanNCut tells me, that it's going to overwrite that fish, basically, that I just sent, because it can only hold one thing in the cloud at a time. But that's okay. So I'm going to hit transfer. Now let's go back to the ScanNCut. And I'm going to touch OK here. I'm going to go home and touch OK. Now, in order to get my design from my embroidery machine that I just sent, I do have to go back to my connection. And this time I want to retrieve a design. So I'm going to touch retrieve from my wireless device, which is my sewing machine. There is the sewing machine pattern. Now I'm going to touch, because it is an applique, this is the applique patch key, which you're probably familiar with if you do have a Brother embroidery machine. This is the same icon that's on the machine. The one thing I do love about Brother machines is they use the same icons on the various machines, so that when we're communicating with each other, we can find the icons. So I'm going to hit my applique patch key, and there it's bringing up each of the elements of that applique design for me to cut on my ScanNCut. So I can go ahead and cut those pieces and have them pre-cut and ready when I go to stitch that applique. It's as easy as that. So I would pick one, say the sewing machine. I would bring it to my mat. I'm not going to change it. What I did find was when you send a design from your sewing or your embroidery machine to your ScanNCut, it cuts them perfectly. They fit right inside that tack down line. So I'm going to hit set. It brings it on my mat. I would put my fabric on the mat, scan it, move my piece over, and go ahead and hit cut. So I think
Well, we're having little technical difficulties with Jennifer today, but she'll be back on. And what we'll do, guys, y'all think of all your questions that you have for Jennifer, and I'll tell you to put them on the screen at that time, and then we'll ask her your questions, so we make sure we can get everybody answered up, and Kyle will put them up on the screen, and we'll look from that. So while we're waiting for her to come back, let's go ahead and do another giveaway. And now what we're going to do is we're going to give away some of our famous event bags. And these guys have unique sayings on each side. They come in 8 different colors. They're $49.99 on our website, or you can buy them individually for $9.99. There you go. You see them up on the screen right now. Again, all have these very unique sayings. They're really cool, 8 different colors. So Kennedy, spin that wheel.
All right.
Here we go. We're going to see who's going to be our winner. And you know what, Kennedy, let's go ahead and give 2 sets of these away.
Okay.
So we'll do a first winner is Shelly Travis. So Shelly, congratulations. She is watching today from YouTube. So Shelly, we need you to go to SMPLive.tv. Scroll down toward the bottom where it says claim my prize. Fill out all that information complete. Hit submit. And you have 30 days to claim your prize. And as soon as we get the information, we'll get them right out to you. So Kennedy, we're going to give another set of bags away. So go ahead and spin that wheel.
Bam.
I hope Jennifer comes back.
I know.
We got a lot of questions to ask her. Amy Ranches. So congratulations, Amy. She's watching today from Facebook. So Amy, we need you to go to smplive.tv. Scroll down toward the bottom of that page when you get there where it says claim my prize. Fill out all that information. Hit submit. And you have 30 days to claim your prize. As soon as we get that information, we'll get it right out to you. All right, next up, we are going to give away one of our world famous sewing mats. And guys, I say this every week. If you don't have a sewing mat for your machine yet, you're doing your machine a disservice. So let's go ahead and give one of these away. And then Jennifer's back. We'll bring her right back and ask her some questions. So Kennedy, spin that wheel. Now, our sew mats, we have about 13 or 14 different colors now. We got a bunch of them. They come in 4 different sizes. And Cindy, Grandma, yeah. Cindy, Grandma, yeah. That's a pretty good name right there. So Cindy, you are our winner watching today from YouTube. You just won yourself a sewing mat. So what we need you to do is go to smplive.tv to claim your prize. You have 30 days to claim it. Scroll down toward the bottom of that page where it says claim a prize, fill out all the information. And most importantly, in the notes section, let us know what color sew mat you want and what size, and we'll get that out to you. And if y'all want to know the dimensions of each size, you can go to up on the smplive.tv page. At the top, you'll see the sew mats. Just click on that. It'll take you to the product pages, and you can look at each size, and it'll show you the dimensions. All righty, so let's bring Jennifer back in here. So Jennifer, I know we probably have a ton of questions for you to answer. Now, one of them I'll ask right now because I saw it flash up. Somebody asked. So does your machine have to, or your sewing machine, I should say, or embroidery machine, does it have to be wireless to be able to connect to the ScanNCut?
So in order to use the My Connection feature, you do have to have a wireless connection.
Okay. That's what I thought.
But you can always take your PES file on a flash drive into your ScanNCut as well.
So if they have a USB stick, they can plug it in, transfer it to the stick, pull that out, put it into their embroidery machine, and pull the file over. No problem.
Yes, your ScanNCut will read PES PHC, which is the file that your Stellar saves as, PHX, which is the file extension that the Luminaire saves as, SVGs, and then FCM, which is fabric cutting machine.
Okay. And I see it right now. It says, does it have to be a Brother embroidery machine?
For the My Connection, yes.
But they can still, any brand of machine they have, as long as it's in the right file format, they can pull it from a USB stick from ScanNCut and plug it into any brand as long as it's got a USB port, right? And it'll read that file. Yes,
PES or SVG. I know a lot of designers now, when you buy a applique pattern or an embroidery pattern, will include SVG files, and your ScanNCut will read the SVG files.
Okay. Question right now says, what's the main improvement of this one, the 325 over the 225?
The main difference is that My Connection feature.
Okay. All right. We're putting as many as we can. It says, I'm having trouble reading that one, Kyle.
Quilters, it's essentially an easy way to cut triangles and fussy cut and
yeah.
What are the benefits for
fussy cutting. I do a lot of fussy cutting triangles. I didn't get to show you, but when you cut those triangles as a quilter, if you're a quilter and you're watching, you know that sometimes it's hard to line those triangles up. It actually cuts the little tips off of the triangles so that you can line your pieces up. It cuts those points. So you know
makes them straight line square, kind of like, one of the things, I know, Jennifer, there's a lot of the manual cutters and electric cutters out there on the market that do thick layers of fabric. And I know a lot of the quilters love to do their different things like that. Now, one of the things with ScanNCut, it doesn't cut through that many layers of fabric, but it will do it very quickly. And the other thing I think it's key to talk about is how you can just fill up. If you have a whole, like if you had a big quilt block of fabric, you could, or as much fabric as you can get in the machine, you can cut individual triangles and circles and different things out and fill the whole page up, basically.
Right,
cut them all at one
right.
time.
And you have a 12 by 12 mat and a 12 by 24 inch mat. So if you had to cut, 30 triangles, you just fill up that mat on the screen and we'll cut the triangles for you. Just because you're not cutting it in layers, you're still able to cut your multiple pieces.
So the next question says, can you use the vinyl cutter to cut intricate patterns from fabric?
I have not done that. I like my the thin fabric blade is the blade that I use for fabric.
That's one of the things I think too is the DX series is you've got the fabric blade, you have the vinyl blade, you have different things that you can use. I mean, even can you talk a little bit about the draw feature that you have with that too, that you can put the pins in?
So the machines, let me just look at my notes here because it's hard to keep track of what comes in the box. The 325 comes with because it comes with the fabric mat, it's geared towards quilters. So you're going to be cutting a lot of fabric. It also comes with a pen holder, an air erasable and a water erasable pen. So there is a pen holder that fits into the little holder where the blade goes. It fits in just the same way. Your little pen goes in that, and then you can draw. With the 330D, it comes with the same pen holder and the same pens, but there are, as a extra accessory, there's a colored pen set you can buy. There's also a universal pen holder that you can buy that also fits into that same blade holder. And you can use, if you have some markers that you like to use, say you're doing a quilt block or a quilt label, and you want to write out the quilt label, and you have some nice fabric markers that you like to use, I would recommend the universal pen holder, and then you can use those markers with your ScanNCut. So it's not just a cutter, it can draw, it can emboss, it can foil, all kinds of things. The drawing tool is cool though as a quilter because you can, draw those seam allowances. It will draw the little points on your triangles. With the rotary blade kit, there are quilt block designs, actually quilt designs in with the rotary blade kit, and those when they cut, they actually you can draw, and they have little marks on them, like to center, like your curves. It'll draw and cut the little marks to center your curves. So it's really, the drawing is built right in with to be there for the quilter as well.
So Jennifer, I know one of the questions I've always got asked a lot, I know I think I'll just put another one up there, but I wanted to ask you these two questions real quick. One of the things that people always ask me is, how long will the blade last? When will you need to change the blades? And then also they always ask about, how do you keep the transfer mats sticky, the sticky mat, if it starts getting, how many uses or how long can you use it until you have to replace that mat? So if you answer those two real quick for me.
Okay, so both those questions are, number one, it depends on how often you use it, just like anything else. I can tell you, I just ordered new blades for mine. I ordered a new rotary blade, a new vinyl blade, and a new standard blade, and a new fabric blade. But I have two standard blade holders, and I have one marked for paper, because your standard blade is what you're going to use if you're going to cut and do scrapbooking or paper or stencils or faux leather or anything like that. But I keep one just for paper. Just like we have paper scissors, we have a blade. I keep a blade just for paper. And then I have another standard blade that I use for fabric type things. So that extends the life of my blade right there, because I'm not cutting paper with the same blade I'm cutting fabric. Also, make sure you keep your mats clean. The best way to keep your mats clean is alcohol-free baby wipe. So you saw me cut that felt. I didn't clean it on screen, on camera, but I'm going to go and I'm going to take an alcohol-free baby wipe, and I'm going to wipe off all the lint from that felt. I'm going to let it air dry. Don't ever put your cover back on your mat until it's dry, but let it air dry, and always keep your cover on. So as long as you can remember to clean your mats, they should last a long time. And then, as a caveat, I always tell people, you know, your ScanNCut is a great machine. It's a machine. And just like our sewing machines and embroidery machines, we have thread and needles and all that kind of stuff. Your mats and your blades are those things that you may have to replace. And that's just, you know, the more you use it, you know, you might have to get another blade. I've been using the same blade for about a year. And I use it all the time.
Jennifer, that's one of the things I love about the newer ScanNCuts too, is that, you know, the auto depth, you know,
Yes.
for like vinyl or fabric, it automatically, you know, cuts it the right depth, where used to you had to set it. And sometimes if you set it too much, it would cut through. Like if you're cutting vinyl, it would actually cut through the backing of the vinyl
Right.
too.
So
Now it does it automatically. That's a great
right.
feature.
And I didn't really go into that, but the auto blade technology along with the scanner is wonderful. So the auto blade, when it goes to make the first cut, it takes somewhere in the little ScanNCut brain, it takes a measurement of how thick your mat is, and then goes over to whatever it is you're cutting and takes a second measurement and calculates how deep it needs to cut and how many times around it might need to get to cut through that, so that it doesn't cut through your mat. And then with that half cut setting, when you turn that on, that tells the machine to not cut through the carrier sheet. So our vinyl, like this, you know, is on a carrier sheet. We don't want to cut through the backing. So when we turn that half cut setting on, it's just one little setting. It tells the machine, don't cut all the way through. So that auto blade is amazing.
You know, one of the things that's to me a great feature if you're wanting to cut a lot of vinyl, because until that happened, if you cut through, if anybody's weeded a lot of vinyl, they're going to know that it's so hard to weed when the paper sticks to the back and it comes off. And
Yes.
even though if it just barely cuts into the paper, sometimes it'll pull off on it. So what you want it to do is just barely dent that paper backing. You'll see the lines, but it will be no cut lines, and that makes it perfect. And I love that feature on this.
Yes.
So what we got? One more question up there. It says, what does it say? What is the largest square? So I'm assuming it'll do a 12 by 12 will be the largest because it's only 12 inches wide that it'll
It's
cut.
a 12 by 12 mat, so that's as big as you can go.
Yeah.
Or you can go 12 by 24, but square wise, 12 by 12.
Yeah, that would be a rectangle, but they could cut two 12 by 12s on a 12 by 24 mat.
Yes.
So, and you could just, you know, do that and cut, you know, your quilt squares out. So quilt blocks. All right. What else, Kyle? We got any more questions coming in?
Each blade, should you use each blade with a specific mat?
Yeah, I think she just, that they just asked, should you use each blade with specific mat? But I think you just answered that just a minute ago.
Oh yeah, so the fabric mat with the fabric blade. And then the standard auto blade can be used with the low tack mat or the standard mat, depending on what you're cutting.
So, you know, and it's like everything else. You're going to know if you're cutting fabric or you're cutting vinyl, you're going to know pretty quick if your blade needs to be replaced. Because it's not going to cut real well. And that's the biggest thing in vinyl. What it does, it actually will pull the vinyl and not cut it. So you know that it kind of rips it a little bit. So you'll know when the blades wore out.
Yeah.
So that's what I always tell people, just do a little sample real quick before you doing something that's a major project. Maybe just do a little cut sample, you know, to make sure on some scrap stuff. And then that saves a lot of headaches, especially if you don't want to, you know, tear something up that you need really bad. All right, Kyle, we getting more up there?
How many layers of cotton?
So how many layers of cotton will it cut through?
one layer of cotton fabric, and I'm kind of looking, the rotary blade can be used with the fabric mat. But you have to remember that that fabric mat is super, super sticky. So don't put fabric. I saw a question, somebody asked about a fusible. You can cut fusible, like fabric with a fusible on the back. You want to use your standard mat. Don't put that fusible down on your fabric mat, because you'll never get it off. That fabric mat is really meant for just fabric.
You know, Jennifer, too, there's so many uses. As you know, I've used it to do the rhinestones. I've used it to do embossing on like copper and different things. But one of the things I saw that a lady did one time that was just, it blew me away. She actually took balsa wood and she cut Christmas ornaments out of balsa wood, and they were just these, and she left them the natural balsa wood too, but they were just, you know, had all the little cutouts and everything and all the detail, and it was just awesome. And you know, who would have thought? And they're very lightweight, so when they hang them on the tree, that, you know, it didn't hang down. It just really looked really cool. And you know, so there's so many uses of this. It's crazy how many things you can do with this thing.
Yeah. So anything that's I see someone's really surprised at the balsa wood. Anything that's 3 millimeters or, you know, in thickness or less.
Yeah, there's a ton of uses for it. So, Kyle, you see more questions in there?
Just how they can. Jennifer has a channel.
Yeah, Jennifer, do you have a YouTube channel or Facebook
You know
page?
what? You know what? I have been traveling the last 2 months, and I've gotten that question so often that I did start a YouTube channel. I have to be really clear that I have not put an actual video of me out there yet that I've done on my own, but I've linked our videos here that we've done, Blaine. So my YouTube channel is Perfect Stitches Creations, and it's PURR, perfect, because I am a cat lady. So,
Perfect.
Yeah, I know that just by your email address.
yeah. So, but I do intend to put some videos, like create my own content, but I'm getting there. I've had enough people ask me that I'm like, okay, yeah, I should probably put one out there.
Well, I know you've been on our shows many times, and we loved having you on here. And I think Kyle just put that up on the screen for everybody. So y'all, I encourage y'all to go subscribe to her channel too, because I know that you're probably going to start putting more content up, and especially if you just want to see the times that you've been on our shows, you can actually go see every time that she's been on our show. It's probably going to be on there too. So
yeah, I'm in the process of linking things. So
that's awesome. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on today. I tell you, this was awesome. Everybody's been wanting to ScanNCut again, and we've done, you know, throughout the years, we've done a lot of different things with ScanNCut. But you know, that's one of those tools that people buy and they stick it in the closet and don't use it because they are intimidated by it. And so, you know, that's one of those things I tell people: don't be afraid of it. Get it out and find something. I mean, if it's just one thing you use, I mean, just if you just want to cut vinyl and do things with vinyl, or you know, there's so many things you can do. You can make masks. And here's a great little tip. Y'all can make masks out of vinyl and put it on wine glasses or glasses and different things, and then get the etching cream and you know, do things to give people for gifts. It makes great gifts for stuff like that. And it's easy to do.
Yeah. And don't be afraid of it. I mean, I was the same way. I was afraid, but we don't learn without just pushing buttons. And you know what? If you cut through your mat, you just get a new one. I know that's hard for people to hear, but the only way we learn is by doing and just jumping right in. So I've really enjoyed being here and sharing what I do and how I do things.
Well, did a great job. You're a great educator. We always love
really
having you.
Sorry about the camera issues. I don't know what that is. But
that's quite all right. I think everybody's really enjoyed it. And so, Jennifer, I know we'll probably see you again. I think you're actually on our Cyber Monday show.
I am going to be with you twice on Cyber Monday.
Yeah, so we look forward to that. We'll see you then, okay?
All right. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
All righty. All right, so guys, great job by Jennifer today. I hope that kind of got you excited about ScanNCuts. And if you've already got one, get the thing out and start using it if you haven't. And the other thing, guys, we have a full line of accessories. We have a ton of accessories on our website that you can buy to get things for it. But if you don't have a ScanNCut yet, guess what? We have a great special today. And again, you can call in, and that's going to be the best way to do is call us and for more information today about this. But one of the things we're going to do right there on the screen, you see we're highlighting that $325 right now, $699, and we're throwing in a $200, I think it's over $200 rolling tote for this. Now, again, we're going to throw that in absolutely free with that $325. Now, we do have other ScanNCuts, and we actually have the one that Jennifer talked about today too, that has Disney. So we do have Disney ScanNCuts. And guys, we have a fantastic call-in special on the Disney ScanNCut, but you have to call us right now because I were already told, Kyle told me while I was off the air that these ScanNCuts are blowing out as we speak. I think he just told me, give me an update. There was 3 left of the 325 and 18 left of the Disney one. So guys, we had a bunch of these in stock. They are blowing off the shelf right now. So if you've been thinking about a ScanNCut, don't think anymore. Get one of these right now. We got a great special on them. So call us 800-401-8151. Pick yours up today and ask them about some special financing because we may have some special financing for you for either one that we have today, the Disney or this one. And guys, we're going to ship it free, absolutely free, right to your doorstep. So you can't beat that. All right. So another great show today, great educator. I hope y'all really enjoyed that. So now it is time to do some giveaways. We've been giving some stuff away, but we're going to give a sewing machine away today too. So what are we going to give away next, Kennedy? We're going to give another sew mat away?
Sure.
Let's give another sew mat because I was going to do 2 and we only got to do 1. So go ahead and spin that wheel. Here we go. Pepper Marley. So Pepper is our winner. Watch today from YouTube. So Pepper, you just won yourself a sewing mat from SMP. What we need you to do is go to SMPlive.tv. Scroll down toward the bottom of that page where you see claim my prize, fill out all the information complete. Most importantly, put in the notes section what color sew mat you want, what size, hit submit, and you have 30 days to claim that prize. And as soon as we get that information, we will get it shipped right out to you. All right, next up, I'm feeling good today, Kennedy, so let's do another $100 gift card to SMP today. So spin that wheel. So if you do win this gift card, we'll send you a link or a code that you'll have to put in at checkout, and it'll save you $100. So here is our winner, Kim's Tunes Full. Kim's Tuneful. Tunesful. That's kind of hard to say, isn't it? Kim's Tunes Full. All right, Kim, you just won. You're watching today from YouTube, so you won yourself a $100 gift card. So what we need you to do, claim that prize. You have 30 days to claim the prize. Go to smplive.tv. Scroll down toward the bottom of that page, fill out all the information complete, hit submit, and once we get that in, we will email you a gift card code to use at checkout. All right, next up, we are going to give a Brother sewing and embroidery machine away. This is the LB5000. Guys, this is a $1,000 machine. It has a 4x4 embroidery area on it. Everybody loves these machines. Weighs about 12 pounds, extremely lightweight, very portable. You can take it with you on the road, camping, to retreats, whatever you want to do. And if you don't want it yourself and you want to give it to somebody as a gift, it makes a great first time embroidery machine for somebody and a great sewing machine. We're going to give one lucky viewer one of these. So Kennedy, spin that wheel. Pammy J. So Pammy J is our winner. And I think that's a first-time winner. I don't ever remember seeing that name before. So Pammy J, congratulations. You just won yourself the Brother LB5000 sewing and embroidery machine. She's watching today from YouTube. So Pammy, to claim that prize, you have 30 days to claim the prize. We need you to go to smplive.tv. Scroll down toward the bottom of that page where it says claim my prize, fill out all the information complete, hit submit, and we will get that thing shipped out absolutely free right to your doorstep. All right, guys, another day, another show, and we're so happy y'all joined us today. Now, next week, Kennedy will be doing the show for me. I'll be in Utah next week. And then the week after, I won't be here. I'll be in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm going to be down at it's actually the SVP, which is Singer, Pfaff, and Viking Convention, sewing convention. So I'll be down there. So I'll be out. And so in the meantime, we're trying to get our new studio, trying to get it all decorated and get it done. So when I come back in 3 weeks, you'll see a brand new studio, all the new gadgets, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And can't wait to christen that with y'all. But guys, we hope that y'all have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and I will see y'all back here in 3 weeks. So long.